All right.
Awesome.
So, as I said before, my name is Mahalia. If you have trouble pronouncing my name, you can just call me Leah. And I've created this presentation to show you all the projects and everything that I've accomplished since attending WHSAD. This is my resume. It has a lot in there. So as I was saying before, don't be afraid to be as part of as many projects as possible, because you could stack up your resume like this. So,
Hey, Mahalia, is there a way you can zoom in on that a little bit?
um, yeah. Right. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, a little better. Nice.
Yeah.
So, so can you just talk a little bit about the different components of a resume? Like just this one page. If you can give us some idea as to what you need to think about when creating a resume.
So, when creating a resume, you shouldn't be uh, afraid to put as much information on there as possible. Like, you need to put every single thing that you've ever done on your resume. So, like, the first category is your intro, your I forgot what that's called, but you basically have to explain yourself and explain what you hope to get out of a job, or, well, since you're in school right now, I mean, you still can get jobs, but a lot of this is like after high school, but still, you just basically explain yourself in the first section, explain what you're looking for, and then the next section, what I put was work experience, all the things that I have worked in, like SYP, the summer program that chooses students to work in different fields. Well, not necessarily your freshman year, but later on, they choose students who are really interested in school and are interested in the path to what choosing your career and all that. So I put SYP and Park Avenue Armory, which is an internship that I was offered earlier this year. It's only offered to sophomores, or not sophomores, but those who are 16 and older. So, and then next I put education. So right now you would put WHSAD, because that's what you're enrolled in. You wouldn't put like middle school. You put your high school, and then you would put your graduation date, um, your coursework that's relevant to the career you want to choose, all your honors, your clubs. I mean, you don't have to do it this way. That's the way I did it, but you have to make sure to put your GPA and your honors and everything that you've been involved in. Excuse me. I also put programs. Peace is a program that I started doing in the beginning of my sophomore year. Not sophomore year. Yeah, sophomore year. Right? Yeah. Um, they offer it to freshmen, and you'll stay in the program for 4 years. But it's okay, because you get a stipend. You get to do. You have to do work, and you get classes, and the classes are from 9 a.m. to 4. So uh, I know that might seem like a long time, but you get money if you do the work. So, and then next I put my achievements, like architecture club, um, all the projects that I've been doing, like Lake Como. Lake Como is a project that I've worked on in architecture club, where we had to design a lakefront um, in Lake Como in New Jersey, because the lake suffered water damage um, due to Hurricane Sandy. So, but I'll explain some of that later. And then I put the WHSAD newspaper. I started doing that earlier this year. Um, the WHSAD Art Gallery, which is something that the school has been doing this summer, well, late in the school year, and also this summer, where we had to create an art website that features all students' artwork on there. Um, Also, ACE is a program that, if you're really interested in architecture or construction and engineering, you should definitely sign up for ACE. Um, Next, I put my skills in volunteer work, like community service, and I put the skills that I've learned from school, like uh, I was proficient in SketchUp and AutoCAD, which are designing apps. I put that I'm bilingual, so it's important to put that you know more than one language, especially when you're applying for a job. I put that I'm also diligent and hardworking. Um, and over here, I just put all of my awards and honors that I've had so far. Uh, and you shouldn't be afraid to put as many awards as possible, but don't create like 3 pages worth of awards because it's too much, you know. Um, all right, so that was it for my resume. Moving on, I'm going to my artwork pieces. So these are just a few drawings and paintings that I've done. Uh, an eye, a spaceman. I've also done these 3 and painted them. The drawing in the middle. So next, I'm going to projects, major projects that I've been involved in. As I said before, I was a part of Lake Como, which I had where I and a few other students had to design a lakefront for Lake Como because uh, there was a lot of water damage, a lot of damage to um, the front of the lake. So this project has been ongoing since like 2018, since I started high school, and we just recently presented our design in June, I think. Yeah, June. So yeah, these are just a few pictures from. Let me zoom in. These are just a few pictures from our presentation. As you can see here, this little drawing right here, you can't see where I'm pointing, but the drawing on the bottom, that's not really updated because we couldn't get our drawings from the school because of COVID. So, but as you can see, we've indicated what we wanted near the lake, um, all the grass, all the plants, all the trees, and all that. You can see multiple plans that we've developed in the school in the on the picture in the top. Um, yeah, as you can see here, the trees are indicated, the dock, all of that. And this was a footpath um, that we developed to have near the lake. So, yeah. This is just our design, some visits that we took to the lakefront. Um, Candide's Garden, which is a garden in Lake Como that we went to where we had to plant plants and flowers and vegetables and all that. So we basically went there to get a whole idea of what the lake looks like and what work needs to be done there. So, right, moving on to after school programs and clubs. Uh, First, I'm going to start with ACE. Um, uh, ACE stands for Architecture, Construction, and Engineering. It's an after school program that invites, inspires, and educates high school students by mentoring them to seek careers in architecture, engineering, and design. So, if you're really into all of that, you can sign up for ACE because there's a lot of projects that we're doing surrounding architecture. We take multiple site visits to construction sites just to get an idea of what work is getting done there. So if you want to do construction, you'll see what process construction workers go through. Last year, one of our projects was we had to design a clinic, a health clinic. So if I zoom in here, um, there were multiple groups that were in charge of things when designing the clinic, like acoustics. I can't really remember the rest, but each group had to design a certain thing. They were in charge of a certain thing. So in the future, when there's other projects that you're going to be a part of, they'll basically separate you into groups, like big projects. Um, if it's needed that you're going to be separated. But we did a big presentation where other ACE teams came to our building, and we basically had to present our design to everybody. There were mentors that came in, parents, some teachers, kids, all of that, and basically there was a committee, and they had to choose which design they liked best. And we were going to go to Washington if your design got picked, and then you would present your design to like a whole committee in Washington, and then if they pick it, they'll give your team like a lot of money and stuff like that. So over here is just a few of the things that we have done in this picture on the top left. As you can see, we're holding a lot of string. That was our first day this year where we had to do an icebreaker and say a few things of ourselves. So we got this ball of yarn, and we had to keep throwing it to whichever person you pick, and then they would have to say something interesting about themselves, and then they would have to throw it to another person and another person. So yeah, but yeah, that's about it. Next. Other programs, as I mentioned before, PACE and the Park Avenue Armory Youth Corp Internship Program. PACE is a program that's designed for students um, who I won't say need help in their academic development, but it is help. If you're really interested in doing better, you should definitely sign up for PACE, because they teach you how to prepare for college. And you go to Pace University, you sit in one of their classrooms, and you get the whole experience of what college is like. And later on, when the time comes, they'll help you through your SATs. They have SAT tutoring. They'll help you through your application and everything like that. Um, as I mentioned before, you take classes from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and those classes give you homework. And if you do that homework, you get a stipend. So, and the internship is it's offered to 16-plus-year-olds. You go to the Park Avenue Armory, which is a museum in Manhattan, and basically you sit with a whole bunch of other students. And I didn't really get to get the full experience of the internship because of COVID, and I had just signed up this year. But you get to be a part of a lot of projects, and you get to meet people around your age and design things with them and talk to them. So it helps you kind of branch out, especially if you're kind of shy. The people at Park Avenue Armory are very warm, and they welcome you with big arms, you know. So, yeah. Um, Next, I'm going to talk about Architecture Club. Um, Architecture Club is where I developed the Lake Como lakefront plan. So basically, you get assigned a project if there are projects to do, and you work with other students to design whatever it is. Design like a plan for something, designing a landscape, whatever. But you meet up after school, and uh, the teachers are Mr. Rodriguez and Mr. Codio, but mainly Mr. Rodriguez. He's in charge, and he'll come to you with projects for you to do, and it's really fun. So um, it's architecture club, and then there's art club with Mr. Garinger, which is the ninth grade architecture teacher with Mr. Rodriguez. Um, but you go in there, and you just basically draw whatever it is that you want, and Mr. Garinger will tell you uh, if there's something specific for you to draw if you're designing something. So in these pictures, you can see how the students are meeting up with teachers and other students who are talking about a plan and developing. Um, in this picture are teachers, Mr. Giambroni and Mr. Codio, who are working with some of the students. And that's going to be like a common sight at WHSAD. You always see Codio talking to somebody about something, students about some kind of project or something. Um, see over here, they've all gathered and we're talking about what to do in architecture club. And the picture on the bottom, that was last year, the first presentation of Lake Como, where we actually went to New Jersey to present our plan. So, as you can see, some of the students are wearing Lake Como shirts with Mr. Bodio there. So, yep. Next, I'm going to talk about the newspaper club. It basically explains itself, but the newspaper club is a club where you write articles for the school. I started doing this, I want to say, the beginning to the middle of my sophomore year. Articles that I've written is the Lake Como presentation. Learn more about our WHSAD teacher slash architectural girl, and a project called Project Witness, where we had to interview Holocaust survivors and everything like that. Let me zoom in on this picture. I wish I could show you the picture of the articles, but they kind of cut in half, and the pictures weren't great. So this is the WHSAD website. This is what it looks like now. On the WHSAD website, you can find all these resources like academics, student profiles, internships to apply for, programs the school has, and information about the school. So, next, I'm going to talk about the art gallery. So, the art gallery website features work from all of our students. We created this website to give students the opportunity to branch out and showcase their work. There's a lot of good artists in our school who don't necessarily show their work and they kind of keep quiet. So we created this website to give them the opportunity to show all their work, and it's amazing. So let me zoom in. So this is the art gallery website. One of our students created this drawing of this man here. It's pretty, it's still up and running. It's still in the process of being created. We're still uploading things because we started this late in our school year and the beginning of the summer. So we weren't able to hold an art festival in our school because of COVID and school shut down. So we thought that this could be a nice replacement for students to still show their work even if they're not in school. photographs, the painting, other work students have done. So, yeah, but that's basically it. Um, I've explained all the projects that I've been involved in since starting WHSAD. So, do you guys have any questions? You can unmute yourself or say it in the chat. So, let me go back.
You guys got any questions? Mahalia went over a lot. She's been involved in a great many projects and programs, and don't feel overwhelmed like you need to be a part of everything. I mean, it starts with one piece, and it really just ends up growing from there. And a lot of this stuff is associated with work that's being done in the class as well. But is there any one program that she covered that you may want to know a little bit more about? I think Dylan wanted Mahalia. Dylan wanted to know a little bit more about ACE, the ACE program. So I don't know, Dylan. What do you want to know specifically about ACE?
I missed it. Like, I missed the whole, like, her talking about it.
You
Okay.
didn't hear me?
So go ahead, Mahalia. What just in terms of ACE, like, what's like the best thing that you got out of ACE?
Well, I have to say that if you're really into architecture and you want to be an architect, then ACE really gives you the full aspect of what architects do. And not just architects, construction workers and engineers. You get to be a part of a lot of projects, and there's a whole bunch of students, so you guys kind of form a community. And if you have trouble like making friends or something, there's a lot of students at ACE that will definitely talk to you, definitely make friends in that program. I did. So you just get the whole idea of being involved in a community and being involved in a lot of projects that you'll definitely feel that you're doing something good for the community. So. Um, well, I mean, it's definitely okay. So you don't really meet up after school. I mean, you do, but um, you sort of have to branch out and come up with different articles because they're not just gonna like pop up out of thin air and you're gonna be like, oh, there's an article for me to write. You have to like come up with ideas. You have to see. You have to know what the school is doing, what students are doing. Um, uh, in order to come up with different articles to post for the website. For the newspaper club, it's not just writing articles, you also conduct interviews, or you can have other people do interviews for you. Um, but you conduct interviews for certain people, you have to come up with the questions, and you have to like record their voice and record what they're saying so that you could remember what to type later on when you're writing the article. And you have to do it word by word. You can't morph some of the words. You can't change them, especially if it's coming from their mouth. Um, you have to type every single word that they say, and that can be pretty hard. But that's why you screen record, and you have to make sure that you have all those recordings of what they're saying, all your questions, so that you can be sure to type them up later on. But it's really fun. I really like Newspaper Club, and I plan on continuing it in the future. Yeah, it is.
Anyone else? Does anyone have a resume Already? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. 4 years. So Mahalia's she's going to be a junior. So she's been at WHSAD only 2 years. So it's, yeah, Mahalia, a lot of what you've done a lot, so much that it sounds like you'd be over 4 years, but you've done it over 2 years right now. So
Yeah.
I think the question still is appropriate. How did you stay focused for the last 2 years?
Um, I really can't. I really don't know, but I think that I'm just so invested in my schoolwork, and I really want to do well in my work, and I get upset or nervous if I get a bad grade or something. So I think you just have to be really dedicated to your work in order to do well. And there's gonna be stress. There's gonna be a lot of stress, but you just kind of have to breathe and stand back. If it's too much for you, just take a little break. Um, just take a little break away from the schoolwork and everything. Take a breath, and just don't worry a lot about your schoolwork. I mean, you have to worry, but don't overcompensate things, because that won't benefit you in the end. It'll only make things harder. So, yeah.
Good questions, good comments. Anyone else? I did ask about who has a resume already. Any of you guys coming in as freshmen, or Raven, who's transferring in as a junior? You guys have any resumes set up already? So the first thing I would suggest you do, yeah, I mean it's fine. There's not much on it. Raven, for you, I definitely tell you to send your resume um, to all three of the teachers here, to Codio, to Rodriguez, and to myself, and we can give you feedback on it, and also you know get it into the hands of people who are going to give you those opportunities. Um, so you saw Mahalia's resume. I encourage you guys to reach out to the upper class students, um, such as Mahalia, Ayana as well.